Right then, guys, welcome back into the Spooky Shed, your go-to place for conversations around all things weird, scary, and of course, spooky. Weirdly doing this during the day, and it's even fucking colder in this shed, but I've got a guest with me, so we have got Angel with us today. Angel, welcome into the shed. How are we?
Nice and toasty.
All right, for some. Well, that's what happens when you're in bloody Florida and I'm in the northeast of England, fucking freezing.
That's right.
Yeah. But the problem with this shed is there's no in-between. So, like, now in the winter time, it's absolutely freezing. Then in the summer, there's just sweat running off my face. I can't win.
So either you're frozen
Yep. Or just
tundra or you're blazing hot.
exactly. There's no in between. I think I've had one time in here where I've been like, oh, yeah, it's all right. It's nice and comfortable. Like once out of all the fucking episodes I've done in here. Yeah, God. Right.
I understand that way too much. It's like
Right,
down
so
here in Florida, we hit 120 in the summer. So I feel you.
yeah, again, I don't know what that means to me, but it sounds hot. But the thing is, I don't even like it being hot. Yeah, I still whinge about it being cold. So
Yeah, I will take the cold any day.
yeah, it's better being too cold than too hot.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right then, so I did pre-warn you, but I don't know if you can remember, because obviously we were supposed to do this a week ago. But I get all my guests to leave something in the shed with me, so it can be literally whatever you want, something you love, something you hate, person, place, feeling, thing, literally anything you want. Preferably the weirder the better. So what have you got for me?
Okay, so I went back on one of your episodes and I cannot for the life of me remember which one it was, but it reminded me of, have you ever seen the original Alien movie with Sigourney
Yes.
Weaver? Okay. Remember when the alien popped out and at the end she's in the chrysalis sleeping in the chamber? Well, my parents said, do not come out when you hear these sounds. Well, what is a kid going to do? They're going to come out because they hear the sounds, and I was scarred for like ever. So I ended up sleeping with the blankets over my head and completely cocooned in, thinking these things were going to eat me. So that's what I'll leave with you.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And funny enough, we've just been talking about kids and stuff, and that is the alien is the exact reason that I stayed above my wife's shoulders the entire time my son was being born, because I've seen Alien. I know what it looks like. You don't need to see it in person.
And that's pretty much what it feels like.
I can imagine. Just a bit further down.
Yes, exactly. A lot of screaming, and you feel like you're being broken to, and then hey, there you go.
Exactly. I was gonna make an even worse joke then, but let's move on from that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Memories. Let's not.
Yeah, let's not. God. Right. So you've told me a couple of things. So I'm just gonna let you take the wheel. I just want to know your story of where all your interest and everything starts, with all the paranormal weird shit and everything in this weird world that we live in starts.
Okay, well, we had discussions in the past couple of weeks, before my Adrian phase, and only you and I will understand that. You, me, and Tommy, actually. Um, so we decided we'll go with the basics first, and then we'll get into the rest of it later. I am married. I've been married for 32 years, been together for 33. We have 5 kids and 2 grandkids, and they are like the best little men ever. But I've had paranormal experiences literally since the day I was born. It's been like in my lineage thing, and this is where it kind of veers off from this way to that way, and like kind of down the center. My mom had gifts, my grandmother had gifts, and it's been like 9 generations down my lineage. And it doesn't just go to the women, it also goes to men because all my sons have it. But the earliest that I can recall, well, I can't recall what my mom told me. It's when I would get cranky and she would be asleep, and she did an observation one night. I can never remember the clockwise. So some ways I'll say it's clockwise this way or clockwise or counterclockwise. So my stories will differ depending what podcast I'm on. But she said she saw a dot, and then she said she saw it go. I think it was clockwise, and it went to a form of a man, and he would sing me sleep. And then this was at nighttime, and then at dawn it would reverse and go back into the little dot and disappear. So
That is weird.
yeah, right. So I was like, "Okay." So I had my own little built-in babysitter. Yeah, so that was like the first thing.
I could use
Um,
one of them now.
right? Yeah, you could. It's like, dude. take over your job. um, when the phone would ring, I would be like 2 or 3 years old, and before she could answer it, I'd be like, "This is who it is, and that's what they wanted," and pretty much that's what would happen. And
Mm.
she's like, "Kid, you're freaking me out," but she used to do the same thing when she was really tired, and I've heard it's a common thing that your mind is so powerful, you can will things to get up and move. She would will toothpicks to get up out of their little box. She used to be a server at a restaurant, and to go in the container, they would literally get up and float and go where she wanted them. So, I mean, things like that would happen. We had a resident ghost in the house that was named Bart. Why? I don't know. And he would move things in the house. I guess it was a familiar name to her. But if she couldn't find her keys, she'd say, "Bart, where are my damn keys?" And in a couple days, they would show up. Things would be missing, and she would tear the house apart. They would be there, or just talking out to thin air. So I've lived with that. My aunt Ludi, she predicted her own death because you don't want to mess with timelines. If you know what something's going to happen, it's like the rock in the lake effect because it's
Yeah,
going to ripple out. So you don't. She let it happen, and she said her goodbyes, and it happened exactly how she saw it.
that's
Right? I would be. I would. To be honest, I'd be a little bit terrified.
yeah. Well, it's a question I ask people at work all the time because I do think there's a right answer to it. So I always like to ask people, would you like to know when you're gonna die or how you're gonna die? And to me, the right answer is when.
Right. I don't think I would want to know how.
No, no, because like it's because if you get told you're gonna die in a car crash, that could still happen when you're 90 years old.
Right.
But like I said, if I get told today that I'm gonna die in a car crash, but it's actually not gonna happen until I'm 90, I'm never getting in a car again.
Well, see, it's funny you say that because there was this one time. Now, when my older four, because I told you the ages of my kids, and my
Mm.
older four, because there was that 10-year gap between my fourth and my fifth, the day was going fabulous, fantastic. And I was like, okay, guys, let's get up, get dressed. I'm getting you breakfast. It's going to be a fantastic day. And my energy was really high. Well, I didn't know then that when my energy's really high, something bad is going to happen. Because usually when my energy spikes really high, now when you have a good day, it's a good day. But
Mm.
when mine skyrockets really high, something's coming. And I'm just like, okay, get in the truck. We're way ahead of schedule. I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna get you guys an extra before breakfast treat, and we're just gonna jam to school, and everything's gonna be great. Well, little did I know, 2 weeks before, um, in the intersection, because where I had to take my kids to school, there's, like, 2 little intersections that we have to stop over, and then we make a right, and the school's just right there. I told our roommate, I'm like, "There's gonna be a bad accident right here. I don't know when, and I don't know who. I just know it's gonna happen." And I shook it off, and I didn't think anything about it. Well, we started going through that intersection. I made a full stop, looked both ways. The kids were buckled in, and we got nailed in the side by a guy who didn't stop at the stoplight. And he
Shit.
totaled the truck, and he hit us so hard, he spun us across the intersection, and we were facing the other direction by the time we stopped.
Fucking hell.
And I was like, so we were that accident. No wonder I didn't know who, but I'm doing my podcast. And so what? So that, and if I would have known then to watch when my energy went higher than a good day, I would
Mm.
have known to be more. At that time, I was in my mid 30s, I want to say, and
Mm.
I wasn't aware of what was happening. Yeah. And on my husband's birthday, the one who keeps interrupting me, I was cleaning the house, I was making him dinner for his birthday, and my energy again went really high. And I was like, okay, it's gonna be a really, really good day. And then I got a phone call from his mom. His half brother had got ran over and killed.
Fucking hell.
And I'm just like, this really needs to stop because I don't want any more really, really good days. So
Mm.
when I've learned that when that happens and I'm not foreshadowed or I cannot see what's going to happen, something's coming for us.
Yeah.
So I've learned to stop and try to read the energy more, and I've learned that it serves me better that way, so it's things of that nature, but I've learned that from my mom. But going back, now that I've got sidetracked, I've witnessed my first body apparition, full body apparition when I was 8. It was my dead great-grandmother on my bed. I walked into my bedroom, and she was just laying there full display after she died to tell me goodbye.
Because I always love to ask people this then when they see a full body apparition, because it's something I've never experienced. Don't know if I want to, but everybody seems to give me a slightly different answer. So when you seen her, was she as clear as me and you are now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that freaked me out.
Just like at a viewing.
Like I said, I don't know what would be worse, whether that where it just looks like a genuine person, or if they look like a quote unquote ghost. If you know what I'm saying, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what would freak me out more.
Well, I've seen, um, I've seen them both ways.
Right.
I see shadow figures all
Mm,
the time.
yeah.
I see them in my house all the time, but I see rarely do I see a full body solid apparition.
Mm,
And that's just usually a relative or a close friend telling me bye. So that's you. And the weirdest experience I ever have had, and I very seldom talk about it. I was pregnant with our first son, and my mom just got back from my uncle's funeral, and he was my favorite uncle. I don't know if you ever watched the cartoon Heathcliff. It was an orange cat. Look it up when we're done.
yeah.
He had the most unique laugh that I've ever heard, and my uncle could do it for me. And it always brought me comfort whenever I was upset or sad. I would call my uncle and say, Uncle Butch, do the Heathcliff laugh. And he would do it and make me laugh. And I was good. My day was better. Well, my mom come to visit after she went to Chicago for my uncle's funeral. And she stopped and looked at me, and she gave me this strange look, and I was watching her, and her facial features started to change. And I'm like, "Are you okay?" And she wouldn't speak. And I'm like, "Mom, what's wrong? Are you okay?" And she went to not like a motherly kiss, you know, kisses on the cheek or the forehead
Mhm.
or love hug. She went to kiss me, and I'm like, and then she snapped out of it. She said she could feel my uncle's beard on her face, and that was him telling me goodbye.
Mm.
And I was like,
Nice.
"Well, he come to my dreams, and that would be much more sufficient for me." And she goes, "I never want to feel that again," because it's just like her facial features actually changed, and it was the most spookiest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that sounds fucking awful. That is weird.
Yeah. You see possessions
Yeah.
nowadays, and you don't know if they're real or not.
Mm,
That's the only one I have ever seen
mm.
for real, and it was maybe 45 seconds worth, and I never want to see that again.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine that's another thing to put on my list of things I don't want to happen.
Yeah, yeah, never, never, and I understand him wanting to say goodbye, but there was better ways to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I genuinely thought then you were going to say that your mum done the laugh. That's what I thought you were going to say.
right? I know. I mean, that Heathcliff really set it up, and I wish he
Mm.
would have, but no.
But then that would have been a cool story. Then that would have made it less creepy as well. I think still weird,
Right.
but a bit less creepy.
Yeah, yeah, it was intense, and then, after she died in 1997, she died of cancer. My husband and I were watching TV, and we were arguing. Now, when we were arguing, he was sitting on the couch, and I was laying on the floor, and we had, a TV stand that would close, and it was open so we could see the TV, and all of a sudden, the TV shut off and the door slammed shut. I said, "You know what? We need to stop because mom's getting pissed." And once I said that, then the TV clicked back on, and I opened the doors, and it stopped. She visits me all the time.
Mm,
I can still sense her around. It's
yeah.
less than what it used to be. She's calmed down, but It's been 28 years, but she's still around.
Yeah, so well, I've found out recently, like basically since my son's been born, my granddad is in my house a lot, and even I can tell now.
And he will be.
Mm,
He will be because he's guarding over the baby.
yeah. Well, when we finish this, I'll show you another video of him, and it is weird.
But, let me see. There's a house, and I'll have to get the actual podcast, then we'll talk about it. But
Mm,
Tommy and I did one that's called Hell House. It's the
yeah.
house that I lived in. Have you seen that one yet? That was an interesting house.
Mm,
That house tormented me for 15 years. It's in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and we're moving back to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
but not to that house, I'm guessing.
No, not to that house. Somebody else bought that house actually, and I prayed that that house is nice to them because it
Mm.
wasn't nice to me. I was God, there was so much that happened in that house. I was bitten, slapped, kicked, punched, bruised. My hair was pulled. There was I so wish I held on to the tapes, but I had EVPs that said she dies, her in a body bag. They did not like me at all. Yes.
Why do you think?
You know what? I don't know. I think because maybe I was the only female in that house.
Fair enough. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Growing up in the paranormal itself, Tommy asked me, and I reference Tommy a lot because, like I told you, me and Tommy have been friends for a while. Would I want a quiet life? I don't think I would. It would be too boring. I don't know if I could handle the silence.
Yeah. Well,
Even now,
that's like a question I like to ask people now. I've stole it of somebody else, but I always like to ask people now that if you could have it be 100% fact, common knowledge, everybody knows that like the paranormal ghosts and stuff is all real, would you want it to be? And I always say no, because if that was the case, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Like none of this would be happening because there'd be no need to.
right, it would be an everyday occurrence and it would be so normalized, it would not be worth it.
Exactly.
Honestly, it would not. I'm trying to think because I deal with a lot of I don't know if you have done it yet because with children, I have learned that spirits like to have what's called a mimic ghost.
Hmm.
And mimic ghosts I find are highly disturbing. When my kids were younger, it started, and I would be in one room and my children would be in their rooms and I would be folding laundry, minding my business. Usually I'm multitasking. I'm listening to the radio or I'm listening to TV. And I always have my phone on me because I don't have people I hang out with. I'm pretty well solitary. So my phone's always on me. And then I would feel like a little tug on my shorts or like on my hand. And I look down and nothing's there, and I'm like, "Maybe I'm just tired. I could just be tired." Because after having 5 kids, you get tired. So,
You do
I'm
after
like
one.
right? So, I'm like, it's nothing," and then I would hear my name being called, "Mom, yeah." You get that automatic parent ear, and I'm like, "What?" They're not there. Even my 16-year-old, his bedroom's on the other side of the house. I'll hear him at my office door, "Ma," and I'm like, "Not answering you," because I know now, just like any other spirit, the
Yeah.
more you answer them, the more energy you give them. So, but when the mimicking started, I would answer them, and it just got worse and worse to where, at night, it would come in my room and wake me up, and I would go rushing into my kids' rooms and be like, "Are you guys okay? Are you sure you're okay?" It got pretty bad for a while. It's calmed down a whole lot now. I think because now that they know that we're moving, I'm not dealing with them. So, but there was this one time I've got so many stories from Harrisburg because it's like just so imprinted in my head. But there was this one time I got up at 3 a.m. and I went into the kitchen and I got water. And I noticed my son, my second son, light was on, and I'm like, "Why is he up? Why is he awake?" So I went into his room and I'm like looking at him. He was completely gray, static gray, just staring at the TV, all dressed for school. And I'm like, okay, I know it's 3 o'clock, but I know I'm awake. And then
Yeah.
I
What the
looked in
hell?
his bed. I looked in his bed. He's in bed, but he's sitting in front of his TV.
So there was two of him.
Right. And I'm like, you can go now. You can get out of my house and you can just go.
Mm.
and it looked at me, it looked back at the TV, and I went into my room. So, if it left, I don't know, but that was so disturbing.
Yeah,
And
I
that
can
I
imagine that'd push me over the edge, I think.
I think that yeah, that when it comes to messing with me, just like live people,
Mm,
it's okay. You can mess with me all you want. When you come to
yeah,
my kids,
mm,
that's when I've got problems.
yeah. Well, I've had a I mean, I don't know whether it was, I don't know whether it was just in my head or if it was something similar, but it's happened to me quite a few times. A lot more when I was younger. So when I was younger, I used to I've lost count of how many times I'd wake up and hear my mum and dad downstairs shouting my name. So then I'd go straight downstairs, half asleep, like, what? And they're like, we didn't shout you. I'm like, yeah, you did. But then the weirdest one ever was I don't know, about 6 months ago. So my wife was getting my son Elijah to sleep, and we have a like baby monitor thing for him with a camera and everything. And so then when she's getting him to sleep, I'm downstairs and I put the camera on straight away because he has a tendency to just like chuck his dummy, dodie, whatever you want to call it, across the room, then scream as soon as he does it because he wants it. So yeah, little bastard. But yeah, never, that's not the point. But I always have that on just in case he does that, and then she can shout me, and then I can run upstairs, go and get it, and give her it back. So then she's not having to get up out of the chair and everything. So I'm in the kitchen washing the pots and whatever, or cooking, and I hear my wife's voice through the baby monitor shout Liam. So then I go in the room and I'm like, what? Upstairs, what? No response. Shout again, what? No response. So then I go upstairs. I'm like, what are you shouting me for? Open his bedroom door. They're both in there fast asleep.
That's a mimic ghost. Yeah. They're they're
It was clear as day.
yeah. The for the research that I've done, it's and I so hate the word. I call them inhumane,
Mm,
but they're categorized as demonic.
right.
I just don't like the word demonic unless it's proved to be demonic.
Yeah. Well, I'm iffy with demonic stuff because I mean, I probably should have told you this before. So weirdly, when I actually started this, I was very, very, very skeptical of things, and it's only recently, it's all like I say, since I've been doing investigations and stuff that has happened with my son, that has made me believe in a hell of a lot more. But I'm still very skeptical on anything that is classed as demonic because at the minute I still don't believe in demons or anything like that.
Yeah,
Personally,
me either. It would take the moving of a mountain for me to get it.
mm.
Because I just it's like and I'm probably gonna get crushed for this, but, like, UFOs and Tommy's beloved Bigfoot, yeah, I'm not there yet.
UFOs, I know where you're coming from, but aliens are 100% a thing.
Okay, I'm not saying there is not other life out there. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
saying
what
that
I'm
at all.
saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I say, that is basically a mathematical certainty. There has to be some out there. Whether there's
The
little flying dishes in the sky, I still don't know. I've seen some in the sky that I can't explain, but that's only one thing. But I do like to believe in aliens and stuff like that because it's
Me
just
too,
interesting.
because there's something else other than us,
Yeah, definitely.
but it's
Mm.
just, what is it that I
Yeah,
wanna know?
yeah, exactly.
Because unless I see it, I'm not gonna believe it.
Yeah,
Ghosts, I can talk about all day long because
mm,
I'm there.
yeah,
You know, it's like true crime. I'm there. Serial killers? Absolutely. But UFOs and Bigfoots? Not so much. That's me. And it's not being narrow minded. It's just the fact that I haven't seen these things.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know what you mean. I like the idea of, like, say, with all the cryptids. I like the idea of a lot of them more than anything. But it's like, I mean, I don't know. It's mainly like I'd say we'll use Bigfoot because that's the one we said is the best example, and it's just I don't know because I've spoken to a few people about it, and then as soon as somebody told me that like they travel around using portals and stuff, and I'm just like, no, like that just sounds fucking silly. Like, it's like a big fucking ape type thing, and it's going through fucking black holes and coming out at another place on the planet. I'm just like, oh, to me, it's just like, no, I don't, I don't know still where I stand with cryptids and stuff. I love the idea of them, love talking about them, but when it comes to believing in certain ones, I'm still a bit, I don't know,
Yeah. It's like David from oh my gosh, he's gonna kill me.
down the rabbit
Down
hole.
the rabbit hole. That's where I got started with all this because of David. I love him so much. And David got me introduced to Kevin from Where the Weird Ones Are. And then Kevin introduced me to Tommy from, I just forgot Tommy's channel. He's going to slap me. But David put on this thing last night about Skinny Bob,
Right.
the gray alien. And
Mm,
I was looking at the footage and I'm like, wait a second. Could that be like a stretch of maybe a cryptid thingy for today's Slender Man? Because he had to come from somewhere.
mm.
And the similarities make sense to me.
It was Slender Man was just a painting.
I
Just a, like,
mean, he had to come from was he a bad acid trip? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
possibly.
Well, it just hit me last night because
Mm,
with David's video, I was like, the connection hit me
mm,
like a bag of rocks. And I was like, hey,
mm,
it's possible. Somebody could have took the footage of Skinny Bob and
mm.
said, I'm going to make a Slender Man.
But then it's like, so like say the typical aliens then, so like you say like the greys or the little green versions of them with the big heads and stuff. Like that has to have come from somewhere then.
See, that
Yeah,
takes you.
could be mushrooms. Who knows? But it's come from somewhere.
Maybe the life forms are actually real and they found their way.
Yeah,
Or could it be a parallel universe? See, the possibilities are endless.
exactly.
I mean, they are. They are absolutely endless.
Definitely.
I think the okay, so going back to what I've been through, we went left field. Left field's that way, that's right. But, I don't know. I don't mind so much the spirits being with me. They don't bother me all that
Mm,
much. I find most of them comforting. I do have my own little resident guy. Now, I do not believe in children spirits per se. I find them to be disturbing. I find them to be vessels for more inhumane type, terroristic type spirits that are out to hurt people. And I say that because I made an exception for one. Let me backtrack. I made an exception for one. His name is Matthew. And when he attached himself, it was that when we lived in Oklahoma, and that's Midwest in the States. So
mm.
if you like California, Florida, New York, it's like right here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And he was with me for a little while, like 10 years. And when we lived, he was actually in the Harrisburg house. And the last time I heard from him, he was screaming out really, really bad. And I don't know what happened. Like he was being chased and then he screamed out mom and he disappeared. And that's the last time I heard from him. But I think what presents as a child spirit, unless they are truly a child that like, oh God, what was his name? The guy who killed his children in the oil barrels.
Fuck. Chris Watts.
That and the girls are happy at their old home, so they
Yeah.
haunt their home. They are actually children who are haunting their home because that's where they were happiest.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I think most children's spirits are like wolves in sheep clothing for something darker, is what I'm trying to say. I
Right.
don't believe in children's spirits.
Right. So I'm gonna have to ask this, and you're probably not even gonna be able to give me an answer then. But then what? Like they say, it's a shit world we live in. Kids die. So then what happens to them? Do you think then?
When a child dies,
Yeah, like say if they don't like become a spirit, like say like me and you will when we die. When a kid dies, what do you think happens
I
then?
I think honestly, okay, I think that their souls or their energy is so innocent because they
Mm,
have not had time to be tainted, thank God, that they just either go into whatever faith that that their parents believed in, they just immediately just cross over and they're done
fair enough.
because they don't have time to be tainted and disgusted into this hideous world that we have right now.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I
See,
believe.
that's another reason why that I'm not religious or anything. Like I'm not against religion, but I just see the point of it as like if it's all real and there's a heaven and there's a hell and we're going to one or the other, 99.9% of us are going to fucking hell.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know one person who would get into heaven.
No, no, not especially now.
Exactly.
Especially because there's just way too much turmoil going on.
Exactly.
Because even the
And I kind of have to go to hell because I've got it written. I've got it tattooed on my arm that I'm going there, which is probably going to offend somebody listening to this, but it's a
well,
tattoo.
it's like
It's from a
I always
song.
I always say I may be called Angel, but it doesn't mean I am one.
Very true.
100%.
Right, shall we go back to this house then? Because I want to hear
The
more stuff about
Harrisburg
the house.
house?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everybody loves the Harrisburg house. Okay. Okay, so the first week we lived there, our roommate, the one that was in the truck thing with us, he was playing solitaire. And it was storming that night. My husband was at work. The kids were upstairs. I gotta tell you that story too. So, see, that's gonna be another podcast all in itself, because that's a lot of stories. I'm gonna have to write that one all down. But, he was playing solitaire, and he put the one card in the wrong place, and I was like, "No, that card belongs here." And when I put the card down, I got smacked in the back of the head real hard, and it was just me and him in the dining room. And I turned around, and I'm like, "Yo, stop, that hurt." And he goes, "I think we need to get out of this room." I was like, "Yeah, I think we do too." Because I
Definitely.
mean, that was pretty brutal. And I in that same room, there was an old woman that would pace back and forth. She was in an old Victorian dress, it was blue, and she would watch outside in the backyard, and, she would sing all the
Mm,
time. Back, in the 1800s, the Civil War was in Pennsylvania.
yeah.
And in Gettysburg, which was 45 minutes to the, south, it was the 3 bloodiest days of the Civil War. So and then the Civil War went through Harrisburg and everything. And in the living room, my hair was pulled. My adopted daughter and I were sitting on the couch one night, and we were talking, and then all of a sudden this massive energy push right where she was sitting got it felt like a man's foot just through the couch like 10 feet into the living room, and we both were sitting on it. We ran upstairs. We did not come down for the rest of the night.
I'd have ran outside.
Well, let me tell you the backstory on the house, and it will help. When we moved in, the realtor said, "Can you handle a suicide in the house?" Sure, no problem.
Mm,
Paranormal? Absolutely. I'm game. Well, what had happened was the guy was married and they had broken up, had a 4-year-old daughter. The wife took the daughter, moved in with the boyfriend. The husband flipped out, cut himself from shoulder to wrist, and bled out the downstairs bathtub. He was off his medication. He was bipolar.
right.
And the house was completely destroyed.
Mm.
And so his spirit was in the house for about a year. But when he saw that I was cleaning it and taking care of it and all that, he moved on. But there was a portal in the house and it just kept letting things roll through. Some of my kids, I was like the neighborhood mom. So I had a lot of adopted kids, and some of them would open more portals. And I was not getting them to be able to shut them down quick enough. And yeah, so it wreaked havoc. It didn't help. And me and my one of my best friends, Kaz, opened one. We forgot to tell the Ouija board goodbye, so that was fun. An experience, just little
Yeah, I can
things like
imagine.
that. It would mess your day up.
Mm,
So and there was this one time okay, so in the house, you go up the stairs, there's a bathroom here and a bedroom here and a bedroom here. Now, at the time, we could fit all 4 boys in 1 bedroom because it was a huge bedroom. 2
mm.
bunk beds, dressers, I mean, everything in 1 bedroom, it was that big. So I would when we first moved in, I went up there like 5 times. Now by the 5th time, I am so mad because 'cause they're not going to sleep, they're messing around, they're yelling, they're boys. And I'm like at the 5th time, I'm like, "Would you shut the hell up and go to sleep?" So I turn around and I go down the stairs and I feel 2 little hands on the top of my thighs, and it says, "No, you shut the hell up," and went, "Boom," and threw me down the stairs, and I fell
Fucking hell.
yeah, so I fell down the stairs and I looked up and there's a little boy standing up at the top of the stairs and I'm like, "Son of a bitch." Okay, that just happened. I had knives
Yeah,
thrown at me in the kitchen. It never ended in that house. One of my
How long did
adopted
you live there for again?
if
Why?
well, when your all your money is tied up in one house, you
Yeah.
watch the shows and it says,
Mm,
"Well, why didn't you move?" "Well, we had no money." It was one
yeah.
of those you had no money.
Mm.
Yeah. So, and it was a scary situation, but and they didn't really go after, well, no, I can't say that because one of my sons would see bloody faces outside the window when he went to school.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. And he would see a little red form dancing in the backyard. They would get him to ride his bike at night. He slept, rode his bike. So it was interesting. My youngest had, what is it called? Sleep nightmares. I forget what they're
Sleep
called.
paralysis,
Night tremors.
night terrors.
Yeah, yep, that. Only in that house. And then we moved here and he was
Yeah, see that's weird. And again, like I say, we'll give Tommy another mention. Like obviously with his one of his favorite catchphrases about not believing in coincidences and stuff. But like I said, that can't be a coincidence. There has to be something to that. You know what I mean? I'm speaking to the people that'll be listening now who are like I used to be and skeptical. Were more skeptical on the skeptical side. That was hard to say. Like, how do you explain that? How do you explain stuff like that when, like, say, something like that happens in one place so much, and then you move, never happens again? That there has
exactly.
to be a reason for it.
As soon as we got out of that house, his night terrors stopped.
Mm.
He
Yes,
never had
that's his.
another one. And even when he was a baby, receiving blankets would be tucked under him to where he was like cocooned. Uh, he was the one attacked more so
Mm.
than the other four because he was the youngest. Okay, babe,
My guys.
they're fine. All right, thank you. But it was bad. Like I said, I'm gonna have to write down every single one because there was a lot to that house. And I don't think
Yeah,
it
it's
was
it's
just
it
the
sounds
house
it.
because that was 1965. I think it was more the land.
Mm. Yeah, it's always a good. Well, it's always a question people have when it comes with haunted houses and stuff. It's like, is it the land? Is it the house? Is it the people? Is it a combination of all three? It's like say like if obviously like you said you're moving back there. It'd be very interesting if you could maybe find out if the people who've lived there since have experienced anything. Even if it's not to the intensity that you did, just anything.
Yeah, I think if I get courage enough, because I still, after
Mm.
8 years, I still have dreams about that house.
I'm not surprised.
It still calls me back. It's
Mm,
like, because as soon as I walked in that house, I was 65 years old when I was in that house last.
mm.
I was in there before.
How old are you?
I
I
had a
can't do I
past
can't do math.
I had a past life in that house.
All right. I was gonna fucking say.
Yeah. I'm 53, but I was 65.
I was thinking to myself, then I was like, you're not fucking 70 something.
I look fabulous, darling.
I was very confused then.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. Yeah, I was
Oh,
70 something when I was 32.
fair enough. Well, I mean, I'm 33 and feeling I was 70, so I know what you mean.
No, but I had a past life and I didn't know it. Till I walked in there.
Right.
I knew where everything was, I knew where every room was, and I know that there is a hidden hallway there. There is a hidden hallway if you go. Okay, so I still remember this house. When you walk in, you walk right into the living room. There's the stairs up, the bathroom, the bedroom, and the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, hallway, bathroom, bedroom, and then the basement. But it's called a breezeway, like a little walkway into the garage, but there's a
Hmm.
hallway up here
Right.
and it's very bright and very airy. And there's like 8 doors and they're all golden. And it's almost like cloud like, but it extends past the house, but it's up there. It's just hidden.
Right. Yeah, that's weird. Mm. Haunted houses always like intrigue me, mainly because I've been to one recently, and which is supposed to be one of the most haunted house in England, but it has very mixed reviews, we'll say, on it. A lot of people say that it is, a lot of people say that it's shit, nothing happened sort of thing. It's a very strange one, and I really wanted to go just to get my own personal experience from it. And whilst I was downstairs in the house, I could have been in my own house. It just felt normal. As soon as I went upstairs, it was a weird, weird place, which like confused the hell out of me because I'm like, why am I only feeling it upstairs and other people are feeling it all around the house? Other people are just feeling it downstairs. This is why, because like I said, obviously I was so skeptical before. This is why I'm getting even more intrigued now than I was anyway, because I don't understand stuff like that. Like, why did I only feel something upstairs? It doesn't make sense to me.
What house was it?
So it's called 30 East Drive.
Why does that sound familiar?
I was going to say, I'd be surprised if you hadn't heard of it. It's supposed to be like the was where the ghost was the Black Monk of Pontefract, he was called.
Oh my god, I was just thinking Black Monk House.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, have you gone to the Black Monk House?
I went there last month.
I so want to go there so badly.
It's a very strange place. I want to go back. Well, I'd love to go back a couple of times, to be honest, because like I say again, purely because of the mixed reviews on the place. I've seen so many people say they've been there and investigated and said that it's all shit, nothing happens, and then so many people say, like I say, loads happens, is the most haunted place ever. Because I want to go a couple of times and get a real feel for it and have a number of different experiences, so I know how legit it is, if you know what I mean.
Right. That's like saying going to Edinburgh. Edinburgh?
Edinburgh, yeah.
Yeah, Edinburgh is like they don't play on cue. My
Yeah.
house wasn't haunted every day.
Mhm.
It's when the energy was right, you know?
Mm.
It's like now I know okay, so we have a pipe we have to fix in our house before we can sell it.
Yeah.
And it's coming up pretty soon, and I don't need anybody to tell me, I can feel it, that it's gonna be getting fixed soon because we're gonna be leaving sooner than June. And my son's like, "Are we leaving yet? Are we leaving yet? Are we lea" I'm like, "You gotta be patient, but it's gonna be before June." "How do you know?" I just look at him. I'm like, "Boy, don't ask me how I know these things. I just know these things." And he's like, "This is true. You know these things." And I'm like, "Just be ready because dad's gonna be bringing boxes home soon, and we're gonna be moving pretty soon. So just
Mm.
be on the ready. Don't be wanting to buy stuff because we don't need to be packing extra stuff." And he's like, "Are you sure?" I said, "Trust me. I know. It's a gut feeling." Okay. And it's just when people hear haunting, they want everything on demand,
Yeah.
24/7. Let's go. Like with the, oh, goddess, forgive me, the Smurl house. And I
Mm.
say it like that because The Conjuring got it so wrong. It made me so mad. It did. If have you ever watched the latest Conjuring movie?
I've seen them all. I like them as films, but like I said, the stories are a bit.
I
Mm,
was screaming at the TV the whole time. I was like, "That didn't happen, that didn't happen, that didn't happen. She wasn't at catechism, and that chandelier did not fall that way." And I was just like,
I was like that.
hauntings.
I was like that with the second one,
Yes, it was
the
horrible.
the Enfield one, because I think they were there for like an hour in reality.
They were I'm gonna get slandered. They were not as good as they were made out to be,
Mm,
is my
yeah.
opinion.
I've always said I'd love to do a full episode about them because I mean, you again, you hear so many different. There's very mixed reviews on them.
You, me, and Tommy should do one.
Yes, no, that sounds like a plan.
You, me, and Tommy need to do one.
Yeah,
That I think that would be fantastic.
definitely, definitely. Yes, I'll message him after we've done this, and we'll sort some out for that.
Yes, and I will start writing my whole Harrisburg experience. 'Cause it's gonna take me a while.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, because I mean, it was to the point where, I didn't even wanna be in the house. I had to be out of the house. I had
Mm,
to have my adopted kids and even my other children that didn't live there anymore come get me because I couldn't be there alone. I was
yeah,
actually paranoid to be in that house by myself.
not surprised. That's there's a good question then. So, do you think, or like do you know, does it make a difference with? So I suppose I think I kind of know the answer to my own question here, but it's more like 'cause I'm thinking, like you say, when you're doing like paranormal investigations and stuff. Like I say, when we were in 30th Drive, there was a fair few of us. There was about 12 of us in there, and it's not a big house at all. Will it make a difference whether there's more or less people in there.
I think personally, I think if you keep it to a group of 2 to 3,
Mm,
that way you can have somebody substantiating, "This is what we all heard, this is what we all saw,"
yeah.
and you can bounce the same thing. Okay,
Mm,
write down what you heard, or you, at the beginning, you all agree to write down what you hear, write down what you saw, and then at the end, you all compare notes. So you're
mm.
not contaminating each other.
I was more thinking like energy wise.
But I think if you get way too many people into it,
Mm,
you're going to be contaminating each other because it's going to be like a
mm.
mass thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to come up with, but I couldn't put it into words for some reason.
Yeah, because it's going to be like what was it? The Philip experiment. Have you ever heard of
Oh,
that thing?
no.
No, it was, if I can remember it correctly, the Philip experiment is a lot like Slender Man.
Right.
Okay, if Slender Man was one thing, and then
Mm,
it became something else, and then it blew
yeah.
up to a whole phenomena, and then these people decided it's an actual thing, and then people start killing it in Slender Man, and they actually see them.
Mm,
It's a psyche thing.
right.
Um, and if you're gonna believe in something so hard, it will manifest.
Mm,
And that's the thing. So, I think it was Kevin and I talked about it, and I think Tommy and I talked about it. When does it become a point when spirit is no longer spirit, but it's a manifestation of somebody's mind?
oh, that's a
That's a
horrible thought.
fine line.
That's like that film, The Others. That you basically end up haunting yourself.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
there is an emotional, and I've seen it because my mom did it. There's an emotional part to, like, she got so mad because, when my husband and I first got together, we used to fight. It's a whole learning thing when you're first married, you know, you're adjusting to somebody new in your life, and you're gonna fight until you get that normal, being married
Yeah.
and whatnot. She got so mad when we were in, a grocery store one day, that she made a tomato just fly off the top of a tomato stack and hit the ground, and it split with her energy. So, was that supernatural, or was that her energy? I think that was her
Mm,
energy.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
And it becomes a more, I think, philosophical will be the proper term. Where does the fine line begin? Because
Mm,
a true unbeliever would be like, "Oh, no, that was a ghost. The ghost actually did that." To where a skeptic would say, "Nope, that was an energy thing, or she bumped it," or you know what I'm saying? So where does
yeah,
that
yeah.
fine line fit in? There's always a fine line, and a lot of people do dance with it, but it's all in where your perception is.
Mm,
And I love The Others, by the
yeah.
way. Fantastic movie.
Yeah, but I mean, I remember when I first watched it, it creeped me out for fucking ages. I mean, I'll be honest, the first time I watched it, I did not understand it. It was only on the second. I was only on the second watch. I was like, oh, right, yeah, it makes sense now.
Yeah, I had to watch it like 3 times to get it. I was like, "Got it now."
Yeah,
I was utterly
yeah.
confused.
I've not seen that for years. I'm gonna have to watch that again soon. I've not seen that for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, but
Mm,
no, I understand what you're saying 100%.
yeah. Well, Angel, I think for this first one anyway, because we're definitely gonna have to do this again. I think that's a good place to call it for now.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Oh God. Right. Yeah. Do you want to let our listeners know where they can find you?
On Instagram, it's just Angel Hinman, all smushed together, and it's ANG. That if I could talk would be fantastic. No, good goddess.
Come on, third time lucky.
Let's get this down. ANGELHINMAN. Woo!
Way.
All right. You can reach me there.
Oh, God. Right then, guys, so we shall leave it there for today. Like I say, Angel, you are definitely going to have to come back in the shed because I have really enjoyed this. And like I say, we have got so much more to talk about. But yeah, as always, guys, go and follow our Instagram page at the Spooky Shed Podcast. The link in the bio there for all the other socials. That I keep saying we don't use, but Billy's not here anymore. Angel, you won't even know who Billy is. I'll tell you about him later. But yeah, link in the bio there for all the socials that I don't use. YouTube channels there, Patreon page, merch store, all that other good stuff. And we shall speak to you next time.
Bye.
The Spooky Shed podcast is a Pod Shed production.